Welcome to an episode of ARWP, the All Real Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Eric Novak, and today we have a special guest. With the big MLW restart coming out today, I would like to introduce to you my special guest, Brian Pillman Jr. He has the greatest mullet in all of pro wrestling. He is Flying Brian Pillman Jr.
How's everybody doing?
What's up, man? What's up? Let's start with the first question, and I know this one's like a little weird for you, but let's say people who don't know who you are, people that are only interested in like company wrestling and don't really open up the eyes of independence. Tell them how you or why you decided to become a pro wrestler.
Well, I decided to take my path on the indies. My father was a professional wrestler as well, by the name of Brian Pillman. Therefore, I am Brian Pillman Jr. So. With that story of mine, I wanted to choose a path that was, going to net me the most experience, and the most opportunities on the indies. So that's why I decided to start my career here and work my way up to the bigger companies, instead of just trying to weasel my way in at the start. I really wanted to earn it. So here I am now.
And you're definitely getting yourself closer and closer to the top. It's amazing how far you've come from the independent scene and where you are now. So let's talk about the independent scene. Let's go back and talk about the stories. Tell me your first match. Tell me your first independent wrestling match.
Well, my very first match was against a young man named Jonathan Wolf. And he was 18 and I was 24 at the time, yeah. So, but he was, very skilled, very athletic, and we went out there and put on a pretty good match. And I was pretty happy about it, with it being my first match. It was in Indianapolis, in front of a small crowd of about 50. Well, in today's world, 50 is a huge crowd, right? But back then, 50 people was nothing, But looking back at the pandemic, it's like, damn, we'd be happy to have 50 people at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tell me about it. But it's funny because that actually goes to my next question, which was, what's the largest crowd you ever worked and what's the smallest crowd you ever worked?
Well, the largest crowd was probably the 13,000 people at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas for AEW's inaugural pay-per-view, Double or Nothing.
So tell me, before we talk about the least amount, and don't bring up the AEW dark stuff. Don't talk about the no fans events. I want to hear a different answer from like the least amount of people. I want to hear like a story that doesn't have to be during the pandemic type of thing. So when you bring up,
no. I wrestled in front of like 3 people, and before the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure it was the kid I was wrestling's mom and their daughter.
We were the fans.
Yeah. Zero fans there, yeah. There was just like 3 people in the audience.
That's funny. That's hilarious. But, you brought up the AEW Double or Nothing, and that was definitely, a shock. That wasn't something that was like planned. No one knew about it other than the fans' perspective on it. Tell me how did you get the call that you were going to be a part of that groundbreaking moment?
Oh, it was a dream come true, I had kind of seen Cody around and stuff at some different cons and stuff, and Jericho was really pulling for me. So, they decided it'd be a nice time to kind of showcase me at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, and I got the okay from everybody and stuff. So it was really, really, really exciting part of my career to kind of finally get out in front of that big stage,
Yeah, and the amount of people that went crazy, did you feel that excitement from the audience when you came out? Did you feel the amount of people that went crazy when they saw you?
It's a wild feeling, so many thousands of people that kind of, they either know you from the internet or they know you from your father, from my father's history in the business and stuff. So there's a lot of emotion on that night and a very big crowd reaction. So it was really nice to see that.
Awesome. But, I do want to talk about, where you are now and how much you've done. MLW is coming up in October, that we already know. We know that you are still currently with MLW. That's the least that you've been saying. And tell me what your goals are, because that's what we're excited for. We're excited to see what's going on with MLW, but what are your goals for when they come back, and what do you want to do? Make waves? What kind of waves?
I want to do some, I want to continue doing big things with them. They were the first company to kind of give me that, that high level production and get me on TV and stuff. So I think I have a lot of unfinished business there, a lot of stuff I'd like to wrap up. And, some titles I'd like to hold and claim, the middleweight title being one of the most important, one of the most controversial titles in MLW, the different people that have held it and stuff. So I think it wouldn't be fair to take off and part ways with the company until I, completely and utterly dominate the middleweight division, So that's definitely a big goal of mine, immediate goal of mine right now.
That's awesome, and then we're looking forward to see it. MLW is one of the shows that really became a spark. Soon as they had you on, soon as they had all this new talent, it became a spark of like genius, and so many people watch, and it's such a great promotion. And not a lot of people know about it, but a lot of people should. A lot of people should look at it more, and they should notice it more. One of the things about MLW was the Opera Cup. How did you feel about wrestling? Because that's the first time I have ever seen someone wrestle over 3 matches in one take. You wrestled all 3 matches in one take, and tell me how that was.
Yeah, the Opera Cup was a very very challenging, very enduring performance. It was one of the most difficult challenges of my life, and I ultimately ended up falling short of winning, but I definitely had known going into it that Davey Boy was a very tough competitor. Being his tag partner, I knew a lot of his strengths and I knew how few of his weaknesses he had. So I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. But I'm very happy with my performance. I'm very happy with how things went and how I made it to the finals and going toe to toe with TJP, a guy I've always looked up to. That was kind of a surreal experience, and then sort of surviving and by the skin of my teeth, getting past Timothy Thatcher. He really put me to the test, and I don't even know how I got away with that win. Happened, I got through it, and I got through that tournament, but at the end of the day, it was more of a lesson. It was more of a lesson on that Davey Boy was teaching me, that heart dungeon beating, really teaching me the business and really showing me the respect of the business. And I've always held a higher respect for the business ever since that day.
That's awesome. Like I said, I've never seen anything like that. So, and then to watch, just because you didn't win doesn't mean we can't forget about how hard you worked to get to the finals and how much you had to endure. And that was something I've never seen before. So that's its own thing. That's a reward out of its own thing. But let's talk about the pandemic. Let's talk about what you've been doing during it. You have been fortunate. You've been wrestling a lot, and you've been making waves with Warrior Wrestling. Tell me more about Warrior Wrestling. Tell me about the promotion, because that's something that I found out sadly during the pandemic. I didn't know about it beforehand. That's like a new thing that I found out. So tell me about Warrior Wrestling, about what they provide, what's so powerful about them, and what you want to accomplish next, if it is to get back your title or whatever.
I'm sorry, what was the question, my friend?
Warrior Wrestling? How can you explain Warrior Wrestling as a promotion? Like, what would you, in your own words, talk about Warrior Wrestling, since you were their champion and you just got?
Warrior Wrestling, it's based in Chicago Heights. It's like the premier indie in the whole country. I think I think they use the highest level talent available to them. Via by way of Impact or AEW or whoever they can get their hands on. So they're using all kinds of guys from all over the world, some of the top independent talent in the world, and they're also showcasing some young guys that are getting in cars and helping and getting to the show and stuff. So it's a really great breeding ground for high-level talent. It's a great relationship with the higher or with the major companies, because of the to bar talent, and also it's going towards a good cause too. So Warrior Wrestling is the embodiment of being a warrior, is taking hits and keep on going and keep on getting through, and that's kind of the whole motto there is to take all that fundraising we have and put it towards the school, so that these kids can persevere and get an education.
Yeah, and you were recently the champion. You lost the title, but it doesn't mean you don't have a rematch for it. We know that there's a rematch coming. So tell me more about being the champion, holding the title, being, I want to say just the holder of Warrior Wrestling. You were the face, while you were champion. You were holding that company. So tell me how it must have felt to get the title.
Yeah, my reign was very, sort of elongated by the pandemic, the coronavirus. So when I first became champion, I didn't get too many opportunities to test myself. But it was, months later, after going through the pandemic and getting myself in incredible shape and really having a great glow up and a great bounce back that I finally started getting those opportunities to revisit some old enemies and to create some classic moments with some new ones. And yeah, I think, had it been more of a singles run, I would have defended the title again, but it was a triple threat match that ended up, taking the title from me. But that's the name of the game, different variables being introduced, and Brian Cage had every right to insert himself into that match, so no, it's been a wonderful promotion. They've treated me like, like royalty since day one, and they've given me so many opportunities, and hopefully they'll be starting the tag division soon, because me and Griff Garrison will get in there and win the tag belts.
That's awesome. That's something that I'm looking forward to. But don't you also have a rematch after, because you were still champion? You should get a rematch shot, right?
Come again?
You should get a rematch shot though, because you're supposed to get a rematch.
The next shows aren't going to be till next year, so we don't know when the next show is going to be. So I'll have to bide my time and get in better shape than before.
All right, awesome. And let's talk about Griff Garrison. Let's talk about you and him as a tag team. We've seen a lot of work in AEW. We've seen a lot of matches you guys had. You got your first victory, and it was a well-deserved one this Tuesday. We saw it. How does it feel to finally work hard enough as a tag team partner and get the victory?
Well, I'd always talk to him after our matches and after our losses, and I try to talk to it and kind of explain to him, what we got to do and how we need some combos and how we do need a finishing move. And I think, in many ways he understood that, and we were really able to start to piece together an offense that made sense and utilizing both of our strengths in our athletic ability. He's a very, very huge athlete. Still, we have so much work left to do. We have so much more cohesion to develop, so many more combos to innovate. And we really got to step our game up if we want to compete in the AEW tag division. One win is nothing, when you compare it to the 6 losses or the 5 losses we have, So there's a lot more work to be done. But he's done a great job of adapting to the high level. He's just a young 22-year-old kid, So when I was that age, I was sitting at home playing video games, doing nothing with my life. So, he's already one foot ahead of the game, and here I am, a little bit more experienced at the age of 27, and I'm just trying to lead us into a path towards victory. So, and we finally reached our first point of victory.
That's awesome, and I do look forward to seeing more and more victories coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one thing I love to do when I do these interviews is I love to ask the wrestlers to name a few of their favorite matches that they've had, so the audience who isn't familiar with them should go check it out and watch it. So if you can name me a few of your favorite matches or matches that you think people should definitely watch you in, just to learn more about you or just to see how well you do what you do, what would the matches be?
As a tag team or as a singles?
Both. Anything you want people to see.
Obviously, our most recent win was on AEW Dark, episode 55. We went out there and we just gave it our all. We gave it our best, and we ended up coming out with the victory against some pretty tough guys. So, if you're looking for more into the singles department for Brian Pillman Jr., I had an excellent match with Eddie Kingston on AEW Dark. Very physical, hard-hitting match. And, going back into my career, like you said, you brought up the uppercut. My match with TJP is a great classic of mine. And also an impressive match with Fatu, the heavyweight title match. So a lot of situations where I was extremely close, just coming short in the Opera Cup, just coming short in that heavyweight title match with Fatu. But as you can see, eventually you get that win. You get that much needed win, and me and Griff got a nice win, and that's going to boost both of our careers and our confidence going forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, another fun thing I like to do is I like to name a few wrestlers that you haven't wrestled that you do want to wrestle. So like you said, TJP is someone you haven't wrestled, and then you got a chance to wrestle him at the Opera Cup, and you got the win. Who are a few other guys that you have not gotten in the ring with yet, and you definitely want to get in the ring with?
Well, I'll definitely, I definitely want to get in there and tie it up with Cody Rhodes. I think that would be a great match. I would like to get in there with Tom Lawler. I think that would be a hard-hitting match. It'd be a nice slugfest there. Dustin Rhodes would make a great opponent. Chris Jericho. Happy 30 years to Chris Jericho, I think a lot of these guys that I've looked up to, even, Kenny Omega, is because when I was coming up in the business, these were the people that you studied, and these were the people that you tried to emulate and get better. So if I want to get better and keep working towards that style, I definitely want to face these guys in the ring and see how they move and see how they execute. So
awesome. That's really cool, and I do want to see those matches. You and Cody, you and Jericho, you and Omega. Those are going to be 5-star matches. Everyone wants to see that. So let's hope that happens sooner than later.
Absolutely.
One thing I want to talk about is growing up in this business. It's a very hard thing. Have you had any help? Has there been any mentors that took you under the wing for training or schools? Has there been anything?
Absolutely. I've had so many people help me. Very blessed to have all the networking I have and to have all the allies that I have. I went up to Canada and trained with Lance Storm, and he really took care of me and got me the best training that the world can offer. In other ways, people have helped me out with different fan conventions and stuff, and helping me get booked and things, and a lot of the boys reaching out to me to help me get bookings and stuff. So no, it hasn't. It had definitely. I definitely have been welcomed with open arms into this business, and but like you say, the more friends you have, the less friends you feel like you have. Like once you're in this business and you're doing a lot of business with a lot of different people, it's hard to find out who's legit and who's not, and you just got to keep your eyes peeled. And again, I've been very blessed. I haven't been stooged off too many times, and I haven't been stiffed or sent down the wrong road. And most people have really helped me out. And most people have had my best interest at heart, which is just a wonderful feeling. Wrestling is like a big family, and it's nice to finally feel a part of a family.
That's awesome. It's great to hear that, there are a lot of people that did help you, and that's, it's always good to see the world be kind to each other. Help is always needed, it's always great to see that. All right, another thing I want to talk about was when I remember when it was sometime last year, news was buzzing with your match against Enzo. I don't know which one exactly it was. I know you had like maybe 2 or 3, but the news was buzzing. People were talking about it. Tell me how was it to step in the ring with Enzo?
Oh, Enzo is a great character in wrestling, and contrary to popular belief, he's very skilled at his craft. So it was an enjoyable experience to wrestle with Enzo and to get a little bit of insight into sort of his journey and his experience through wrestling, because we all have a different journey, right? And his was one of extreme, getting blown up real fast, an extremely fast way, and sort of burning out and having to find a new avenue, like with how they treated him, he got so big so fast that it all came crashing to a halt, and unfortunately that's not his fault, so it was unfortunate to see all that play out. But no, he was a great opponent, and I really care about the guy. Him and I have become pretty close friends, so we had a good series of matches, and he helped to get me booked out in the Middle East in Qatar. So that was a very unique experience in my life that I'll never forget. So
awesome. And another thing I want to talk about, you talked about hard time in everyone's life, a big shortage of time. You got in the ring recently. I don't know how recent. No, it was recent. It was a couple weeks ago at WrestlePro. It was a triple threat match. It was you, Brian Myers, and Heath. How was that?
Yeah.
Have you ever stepped in the ring with those 2 guys before?
That was my first time, and it was great because they were really professional. Some of the best wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. So it was a unique experience to go out there and really be out there with some serious pros, some guys that have made a huge living off of wrestling for a better part of their life.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that match. It was an insane match. But another thing that's going on with Russell Pros, you're in the Dream 16 tournament. You're in that tournament. I think it's this Sunday. Actually. No, I think it's this Sunday. How is it to
October 24th and 25th?
Oh, it's next. Okay. It's before KFW. All right. I thought it was before KFW, not after KFW. All right.
Yeah. After.
All right. But tell me how the tournament is going to be for you.
Huge opportunity, yeah. A lot of the names I know in that tournament, so a lot of the opponents I've scouted and stuff, but there's also some different ones that I haven't faced. So,
who are you most looking forward to?
Huge opportunity. I'm so glad that New Jersey is getting back to wrestling. It's just a wonderful feeling.
Awesome. Who are you most looking forward to get in the ring with?
What's that?
Who are you most looking forward to get in the ring with at the tournament?
I'm sorry, I'm just feeling really sick.
No problem. I wish I knew. I wouldn't have pushed this on you today.
You're fine. I try to get everything done that I can, and I'm up here with my girlfriend, and I just happen to get a little sick up here.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I'm obviously looking forward. I know Heath Slater's going to be in that tournament, and he beat me in that triple threat. So I think we have some unfinished business. I think if I take him one-on-one, he'll find out that I might be a little less experienced than him, but I'm younger and I'm faster and I'm stronger. So he's not going to get one on me that easily. So.
All right, and another thing I want to talk about is KFW. Two second-generation wrestlers. You're versing Morton's kid from the Rock and Roll Express. Tell me how that's going to be. Have you ever gotten in the ring with him? Is this the first time that's going to happen?
No, I wrestled Kerry before and stuff, and I defeated Kerry Morton. So it's one of those things where this kid is he's in my shoes when I started. He's got a lot of pressure on him, and that's just that's the ball game. You can either fold under pressure or you can form into a diamond, and you can really handle that pressure and become stronger and become better. So we'll have to find out and see. I know Kerry Morton is still finding his footing. He's still learning to find himself in the ring. So if he doesn't find himself quick enough, then he's not going to get a victory on me. But if he can pull some things together, he might be able to be a huge star and earn a big victory against me if he's lucky.
Awesome. All right. See, I do this on purpose. I like to hear all the talking, all the smack talk, all the, just how you feel. Because, I'm going to that event, so that's going to be, one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to be at KFW, so that's going to be a nice one. But,
Black Harvest?
Say it again?
Black Harvest show?
Yeah, Black Harvest. Yeah. The 21st.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. I'll see you there.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. But I want to talk about, and this is like a big deal to me. I love talking about this. It's about ring gear. I love talking about ring gear because everyone has a different type of ring gear. Everyone has a different type of design or taste. Your gear is one of the coolest gears I've ever seen. Literally almost all of them. From the yellow and black one to the one leg, from the black and red tights to the white kick pads, everything. Even to your new gear, whether it's like the machine gun with the heart, all that's awesome. Tell me your favorite gear. I want to know what's your favorite gear.
That white gear right now is a pretty big favorite of mine. It definitely makes me look good. I like trunks now lately. I'm really enjoying that with a nice tan. The white makes you look more tan too. So no, but I really like the yellow, one leg long gear that I had. It's a true shame that I lost that gear, because I left it in a hotel room in North Carolina and they threw it out. They didn't have any regard. Yeah, just a bunch of goofballs out there. I was very upset about that.
Man, I didn't know that.
At Motel 5 or Motel 6, wherever I was at in North Carolina, they took my tights and they must have thrown them in the garbage because I called them right away as I was driving away. I was like, I missed those tights. So
this thought there was only one leg. This thought there was only. Oh my god.
Those again, but I really like those, and yeah, I've been a huge fan of my gear. I'm designing gear is a big part of the process for me. I really enjoy it. So.
Well, tell me, is there anything planned for? I mean, I know this is brand. I know the gear that you're wearing now, the shorts. I know those are. I know those are more or less brand new. You busted them out like maybe last month or 2 months ago already. But have any new designs coming? Are you planning to get more new gear, or is this the one that you're gonna stay with for?
You'll have to just wait and see. You know, I might have
Oh,
some
you're
some black themed gear coming soon. So you
all
just keep your
right.
eyes peeled.
All right, I'm excited. Look, gear is one of the coolest things. There's so much to talk about with gear and the stories to tell. But I do want to know. I want to know. Do you design all your gear, all the gear that you design?
Yeah, I design all my own gear.
Tell me like a gear and tell me the inspiration that made you design that gear because you have a lot. I saw the I don't even know how to describe it. It's the trunks, but it's the like zebra ones where it's black and white stripes. Tell me you have all this gear. Tell me what made you get the
That was the only trunks I never designed. Those were given to me as my first pair of trunks. Those were
really.
given by a fan that wanted to help me start my career. Yeah, so they sent me those like before I even had my first match. So.
Wow, that must be the ultimate like fan. Wow, that's all. And you wore that. You wore that for the opera cut. Wow, that's awesome. That's insane.
So I just recently stopped wearing them because of my new black and white trunks. But yeah, like, that was kind of inspiration to make the next pair of trunks black and white because I really like that color scheme. So.
That's awesome. Wow, that's really cool. I love that. And I knew there was a story to the gear. It's all new. Like usually you see guys rocking the same designs, just different color. You've been like reinventing yourself over and over and over again. Even with your own hairstyle, you change up the colors. You do a lot. It's really cool. It's really cool to see you reinvent yourself multiple times so we don't see the same Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah, I try to be creative as I can, and that's the thing. A lot of my ideas are inspirations from other genres and stuff. So it's like there's a million unlimited ideas out there, and you don't always have to recreate everything. I like to keep maybe that one logo consistent to kind of bring it around and show it, on different sets of gear. But yeah, you gotta be creative in this world. You gotta mix it up. You gotta try new things. So.
Awesome. And this is one of my favorite questions too. I ask a lot of people, what's the best advice you were ever given? If you remember it and you do want to share it, that'd be cool.
Actually, one brother was telling me, like, 'cause I was asking him for advice, and he was like, the best advice sometimes is to stop asking people for advice, especially in the world of art. Like you said, some people just mix up their same old design and change the color. But that's the thing. What happened when I first started going to make gear is I'd ask a buddy about one thing, and he would say, oh, no, that's stupid, or oh, no, you should do this. And basically what I did was I stopped asking that person for advice, right? Because they just kept shooting down all my ideas. They kept saying this, and you know what I mean? So I was like, you know what, fuck it. This next set of gear, or this next move I'm going to do, I'm just going to do on my own. I'm not going to ask anybody.
Awesome.
I'm not going to ask for permission. I'm not going to ask for advice. I'm not going to ask if I should do this or that. I'm just going to do it. And guess what? Here I am now, right? So sometimes you just got to be creative. And to be creative, you can't ask for other people's, advice or permission and stuff.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's very powerful, and that opens up a lot of minds to think about. My last question for you, because I know you had a lot going on. I know you're tired. My last question for you would be: out of your entire career, even though it's way too early to say it's over, tell me what was the greatest moment so far? Greatest moment, not a good moment, but the greatest moment in your career that you could talk about. One that time stood completely still to you.
Oh man, debuting at Double or Nothing was a big one. 13,000 people really shook me, to my core. It was a really cool feeling. You come out and hear that pop. Another great moment was going down to Tijuana and having a big match in Mexico in front of a couple thousand more people. It was just really cool experience to visit that culture that I loved so much. So to wrestle in front of those people and those fans, they were just so passionate.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Where can people find you on social media? Where can people support you? Tell us where we can, give us all your plugs so everyone can follow you.
My apologies for being sick and bedridden. I just
Don't
have
apologize for that, man.
And, it's really bad. I'm trying not to cough every 5 seconds. But you can catch me out on Instagram at FlyingBrian41, Twitter at FlyingBrian Jr. So.
What about Twitch streams?
And we also have a fall sale going on for pro wrestling tees. So be sure to check it out.
What about your Twitch stream? Go give them everything. Give them everything.
Oh, that's all I got. Oh, yeah. Twitch.tv/Brian Pillman Jr. Come on out for the Twitch streams. Mondays at 8 p.m.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to watch MLW The Restart today. And don't forget to follow Brian Pillman on all his social media. And while you're at it, if you're not doing it, please go follow me on all my platforms of social media, including Instagram, Twitter, so much more. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. I'll see you guys next time with another video.